Greetings. That I do a short presentation that I've titled Flesh and Blood, the story of a conflict between spirits, the spirit of God, the heavenly realm, and evil spirits and humans. This is a story about a conflict that started in heaven around the very throne of God when a cherub, jealous of God's love for his new creation, humanity, desired to replace God and to destroy God's divine plan of creation on this earth. The conflict continued in the Garden of Eden when the serpent convinced Adam and Eve to betray God and eat from the forbidden tree. Then after Adam and Eve's expulsion from the garden, more angels rebelled and took human wives and corrupted God's plan by creating an evil race of giants on the earth. The conflict continued when God sent the flood to destroy the evil that had spread over the world. God tried again to establish his divine plan under Noah, Abraham, and King David, only to watch humans fall to temptation and sin. Finally, God sent his son Jesus because God knew Jesus would not fail. Satan came to Jesus and tempted him like he had with all the others, but Jesus sent Satan away in defeat. Finally, the cross sent Jesus on the road to final victory when sin and death were defeated by his resurrection. But even now, Christians do not understand that we are in a spiritual battle between good and evil that started in heaven and now continues in each one of us. Let me quote you some scriptures just to prove this point. Job chapter 2, Satan appears before God. Verse 2, on another day the angels came to show themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "I have been wandering around the earth. I have been going back and forth in it." 2 Corinthians 11:14, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Genesis chapter 6, 2 through 4. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were attractive, and they took as their wives as any they chose. Then the Lord said, "My spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh. His days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards. When the sons of God came into the daughters of men and bore children to them, these were the mighty men of old, the men of renown. 1 Kings 22, verse 23. And the Lord said, "Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?" And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And then came forth a spirit, catch that, a spirit, and stood before the Lord, and said, "I will persuade him." And the Lord said unto him, "Wherewith?" And he said, "I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets." And he said, "Thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee." Notice that God is using lying evil spirits for God's divine purpose. Matthew chapter 8, verses 28 through 34. When he arrived at the other side of the region of the Gadarenes, two demon-possessed men coming from the tombs met him, talking about Jesus. They were so violent that no one could pass that way. "What do you want with us, Son of God?" they shouted. "Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" Some distance from them, a large herd of pigs was feeding. The demons begged Jesus, "If you drive us out, send us into the herd of pigs." He said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the pigs, and the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and died in the water. Those tending the pigs ran off and went into the town and reported all this, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. Then the whole town went out to meet Jesus, and they saw him. They pleaded with him to leave the region. This was a showdown, because Jews don't have anything to do with pigs or swine. So these were pagans. These were worshippers of the Caesars, who were also sons of God. and Jesus, who is the literal Son of God. Mark chapter 1, 27. And they were all amazed, so that they questioned among themselves, saying, what is this, a new teaching with authority? He commands even the unclean spirits, and they obey him. Talking about Jesus. Mark chapter 6, verse 7. He called the 12 and began to send them out 2 by 2 and gave them authority over unclean spirits. Unclean spirits are those human spirits that are not at rest or not at peace. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4, 5. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. We destroy arguments and even lofty opinions raised against the knowledge of God, and take away every captive to obey Christ. 1 John chapter 4, 5 and 6. They are from the world, therefore they speak from the world, and the world listens to them. We are from God. Whoever knows God listens to us. Whoever is not from God does not listen to us. But we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Revelations 16, verse 14. For they are demonic spirits performing signs, who go abroad to the kings of the whole world to assemble them for battle on the great day of God Almighty. Ephesians chapter 6:11. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. This is a good one. 1 John chapter 4, 1 through 4. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God. And every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of Antichrist, which you heard was coming and now is in the world already. Little children, you are from God and have overcome them, for he who is in you is greater than he who's in the world. Understand, again, we are in a spiritual battle 24/7. Ephesians 6:12. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil and the heavenly places. I hope this helps you to understand that your battle is not against your neighbor, but against demonic, evil spirits that roam the earth and tempt us and torment us and deceive us. Have a good day.